As always, the night after WrestleMania is just ridiculous. So Bray Wyatt and Barrett came back, great job, worked a pretty solid match with Mysterio, beat Mysterio, good match, worked well. They showed promos for Bo Dallas, who is the real life brother of Bray Wyatt. If you haven't watched NXT, Bo Dallas, when he first was brought into the E as a member of the Royal Rumble, was a face, and he sucked as a face. He could knock it over as a face. In NXT, he became this super over-the-top heel, where he has all of his believers. And he's got this smile that just makes you want to take a fist and just bash him in the face until it turns like hamburger. Plays a heel beautifully. Recently dropped the NXT belt because he was the longest reigning champion after he beat Big E Langston. So they did promo for him. Interesting. You need to see what happens when he gets brought up to the big leagues. Then Adam Rose, who debuted at NXT not that long ago, like a couple of weeks ago. And the Exotic Express in NXT, when he comes out with that whole group of people that are partying. When he wins, he leaves with the group that's partying. Different. I'm trying to figure. He's more of kind of like a comedic gimmick, and occasionally he dances around, very much in the kind of like almost like a Russell Brand sort of character. It'd be unique seeing how they work that, also having like Fandango and Santino Marella. That'll be unique. Rob Van Dam made his return and beat Damien Sandow. Good match. Worked well. The Wyatt family took on Big E, Sheamus, and Cena. With a crowd that was so far behind Bray Wyatt, it was ridiculous. Just ridiculous. But then again, you know what? What makes WrestleMania and the night after WrestleMania really special is you have international fans. And if you've ever been to the night after WrestleMania, if you've been to that Raw, it is one of the greatest Raws you will ever be at. And SmackDown's pretty good too, because you get people who fly thousands of miles to be at WrestleMania. And they are rabid fans. You see them at Raw, they're still geeked from WrestleMania. And if they're still there Tuesday for a main event for SmackDown, you're going to hear that exact same level of energy. It's like the most impressive level of energy you get for the world of wrestling. So it was the Wyatt match against essentially your three Supermen. Worked well, great, nice match. Yeah, the Wyatt family won. Looked strong. They're going to be taking on the Shield for the main event. Well, Tuesday night's main event. Orton and Batista were pissed, so they got a title shot against the Usos. Because people who were in singles matches should be able to beat the tag champs. And they do beat them. They beat them horribly. Count out. Doesn't really matter. They got their point across. They just demolished the Usos. That's because Daniel Bryan was going to defend against Triple H in the main event. So I'll discuss the main event real quick. Orton and Batista came down, attacked Daniel Bryan. King came down, attacked Daniel Bryan. Triple H came down, called for the bell because he was going to beat Daniel Bryan. The Shield came down. And ironically, the Shield with like scary, like skull half masks with fangs, that's when their faces. So they pretty much go through the process of attacking Kane, Orton, Batista, as well as Triple H. I thought they were going to Triple H with the triple power bomb, which would have been, I guess, a Triple H bomb. Instead, Triple H turns around, eats the knees. So if they throw one other person on each side, it becomes a Survivor Series match. But we're many, many months away from the Survivor Series. Paul Heyman came out with Brock Lesnar, did a beautiful job getting over how impressive Brock Lesnar is. Now, I wasn't super thrilled with seeing Brock Lesnar win and defeat the streak. I know that that's the person Undertaker had chosen to lose to. And that's great. That works well. But that promo after that Paul Heyman was beautiful. But it gets better. It gets better. So, Hulk Hogan presents Cesaro with the new title, the Honor the Giant Memorial Trophy. And then Cesaro gets to talk and says, no, I'm not a Zeb Coulter guy. I'm a Paul Heyman guy. Who then calls Cesaro the King of Swing to match his black sparkly jacket. Heyman does a second job in absolutely eviscerating the crowd, getting over his client, and ripping apart the announce team. Which then, of course, leads to a match between Swagger and Cesaro. Swagger walks away. He's just getting demolished by Cesaro. AJ came out, talking about how great she was. And then, it's Stars in the Night, Stars in the Sky, which is Paige's music. So Paige comes down, so she makes her Raw debut. Congratulates AJ, on all of her success. Ironically, Paige is significantly taller than AJ, makes AJ look super tan. Because Paige is like Sheamus White. They get into a little scuffle. Then AJ decides she wants to put the title on the line against Paige. Paige takes a beating, hits the Paige Turner, 1, 2, 3. So the end of the 295-day reign of AJ. She loses to Paige's first night on Raw. So Paige is now the NXT and WWE Divas Champion. That was huge. If you haven't seen her work when she was either Brittany Knight or her work in NXT, watch some of her Shimmer matches. Watch her stuff on YouTube. Great wrestler. The nice thing is she's 21, so she's got almost the better part of a decade. Most women wrestlers are done by early 30s if they start wanting to having kids. So we've got probably about 12 years of wrestling out of her, as long as she doesn't get screwed over by the business, which is huge, because now you're actually starting to develop some actual wrestlers. You're not just having the women who look good, you're not just having the divas who are diva in name only. You're having the actual women who know how to wrestle. So you should start seeing much better matches. You start seeing matches that actually make you go, wow, this is a great match, as opposed to, oh, my divas are wrestling? Yeah, I think it's time for me to go to the bathroom. Now, I've gone to Shimmer events, which is like 7 hours in one day of women's wrestling. Then you come back and do it again the next day. When she came down, I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. The last time someone made a debut and then won was Gail Kim. Gail Kim did a really great job. Got screwed over by the E quite a few times and then left to go to TNA. But when she left the E to go to TNA, she became one of their biggest stars and helped really reinvigorate their Knockouts division. Hopefully Paige's transition from NXT to Raw, hopefully she's still in NXT, or else they're going to lose a lot of their thoroughbreds real quick. Is going to do great work when it comes to Divas division, as well as the match she had with Emma at Ascension. Great match. Shows the potential people can have when they actually are allowed to wrestle and work a full match. Speaking of Emma, she teamed with Santina Morel to take on Fandango and Summer Rae. Decent match, it worked well, probably because you had a crowd that started Fandangoing, which you get when you get a very large international crowd. Of course, the team of Santino and Emma won. Warrior came down, then went into ultimate mode. So it's kind of like reading a philosophy book backwards. And you have to listen to his full thing and then kind of rearrange the words. So you almost need like the ultimate cipher to figure out exactly what it is that he said. But pretty much, it's that the fans help build the legacy of the individual, because they tell the story with their hearts and their bloods and their mind. And so from that aspect, it worked well. He also did quite a few commercials where they showed, WrestleMania isn't WrestleMania without the fans, which I thought was good. It's a good way of kind of saying thank you to the fans for all of what they put into it to make WrestleMania and WWE what it is, which is good to see that. And try to let anything out. The weirdest thing is the night after WrestleMania is always one of the best Raws. they did a fantastic job. They showed that now all of a sudden they've got this great new crop of guys who can show up and who can make a tremendous impact. Probably not right away. It'll take a few years to really solidify themselves, but as of right now, the E looks like their future is ridiculously bright.